Hello and welcome to the Comic Cave. I'm Ramsey, aka Captain Away, and today I'm doing something a little different and taking a look at some comic book Kickstarters. Kickstarter, for those unaware, is a crowdfunding platform where creators post projects and anyone can give them money to help realize those projects, with the money only going to the creator if they reach their funding goal. I'm lurking on the site constantly, so I tend to notice when interesting comic projects come out. And after letting several go by without really ever saying anything, I decided maybe it was time to start a new series to shine some light on some of these projects. This definitely won't be a weekly thing, probably monthly at best, but we'll see how it goes. One more thing I should say is I'm not sponsored in any way by these Kickstarters. They're just ones I happen to find interesting personally, and I'll include links to them in the description below if you also find them interesting. Anyway, let's jump right into the projects. First up, we got Lady Death. Lady Death was a hugely popular character back when I first got into comics in the 90s, originally appearing in a series called Evil Ernie, but she quickly vastly outgrew that book in popularity. Original creator Brian Pulido has continued releasing comics about the character on his Coffin Comics imprint, and they've apparently run 15 previous successful Kickstarters building up to this one. So yes, this is chapter 16 of the comic series they've been running on Kickstarter, but if you're interested, I believe they have options for buying those earlier volumes. And from what I can tell, they're all about a single issue, so I don't think it's gonna be like super expensive. One fair warning for like adults, I guess, is yes, there are very much some sexual themes involved with Lady Death. In fact, many comic book Kickstarters are downright pornographic, so watch out for that if that's something that offends you, I guess. One last note on this Kickstarter is that you can get a personal referral link that you can send to your friends to get free stuff in the campaign if, they follow the link and back as well. The link I'm providing below isn't one of those, just so you're aware, because again, this isn't sponsored in any way. The campaign ends on September 24th, so you've got some time to make decisions on this. Moving on, let's talk about one of my favorite subjects, board games. Currently on Kickstarter is a comic book themed board game called the Comic Book Bubble. For those who don't know, the name is a reference to the mid to late 90s period when comic book collecting really blew out of control, and with growing increase of graphic novels and trade paperback collections, the market simply became too flooded with comic books and the bubble burst, causing the closure of many independent companies and even nearly killing the big two of Marvel and DC. So fittingly, this game is about buying and selling comic books. Each comic featured in the game is part of a genre, and those genres have a value track on the board. There's lots of little options for manipulating those values to make the comics you have worth more or less money before you buy or sell them, and whoever has the most money at the end of the game is the winner. It seems like a fairly simple game, but that's probably because it's made by Scott Almes, who made one of my all-time favorite games, Tiny Epic Galaxies. In fact, he made the entire Tiny Epic series, of which there's kind of a lot now, because he primarily seems to make smaller, simpler games. And I guess full discretion, I don't find most of those games very appealing. And really, the only other Tiny Epic game I've actually played, Tiny Epic Zombies, I wasn't really all that impressed by. I mean, he seems to make a lot of games. I think there's like one Tiny Epic game per year. And again, those aren't the only games he designed, so really they can't all be winners, right? But there is something else about this game that has me pretty excited, and it's that it features real comics from Red 5 Comics, a Houston-based comic company. That's my hometown! A lot of stuff like this that uses comics will create fake comics to use for the art. And while that can be fun in its own way, I think it's actually very cool to get real comics to use for this game. If a comic looks interesting to you, that's a real thing. You can go buy it. Even better than that, if they hit their stretch goals on this campaign, they'll actually send free comics to every backer. What could be better than free comics? How about that this game is only $20? That's really cheap for a board game. So if you want to back it, you have until September 13th. That's really about it for now, though I will go ahead and give a quick shout out to the comic Slowpokes 2. It's a slasher story about killer sloths at a summer camp. That's right, I said killer sloths. I enjoy horror comedy, and this looks like a fun comic. And they've had successful Kickstarters before, so, that's a good sign. Backing Kickstarters can always be a risk, but backing someone who's delivered in the past usually brings less risk with it. There's a few other comic projects out there that have caught my eye, but most of those will either end too soon for me to really cover them right now, or I don't really have anything to say about them, so I'll go ahead and cut this off here. Let me know if you're interested in any of these projects, or if you're interested in seeing any more videos like this, and if you did enjoy this video, be sure to hit the like and subscribe so you can be sure to be here for more, and I hope to see you then, right here, in the Comic Cave.